TikTok family, what's good with you? What's good with you? Facebook, what's popping? YouTube, getting a little traction with you. What's good with you? What's good? What's good? We're going to get right on into the brass tacks of this situation, shall we? As we proceed. So, y'all saw the thumbnail, and I don't believe that black people, foundational black Americans, can be racist. Now, let's be clear. I want to be really clear on this. Racism is different all over the world for people of African descent. You got different racism in Angola. You got different racism in, I don't know, Cambodia. Because there's black people all over the world. That's one thing that people really don't understand. They focus on the diaspora of America and Africa. But black people are all over the world, and the racism is different all over the world. You got the untouchables of India, for example, and I don't understand all racism all over the world. I'm going to just stay focused on America. Black people, foundational black Americans cannot be racist. We can be prejudiced. Now, I'm making this video because I'm hearing a lot of people on TikTok and other platforms saying that black people are the most racist people on the planet now, that we hate everybody, including ourselves and everything else. And as an old man now, in my 50s, I have the perspective of 5 decades. I also have the perspective of my mother and my grandparents. All that being said, I'm not going to talk about myself at all. We're going to get right into it. So let's start with some definitions. Our first definition will be prejudice. This is just a general Google definition. Prejudice. Prejudice means an unfair option or feeling formed about a person or group before knowing the facts. It comes from the word pre, meaning before, and judgment. While it can mean good or bad bias, it usually means an unreasonable dislike or distrust based on a group's race, religion, age, or gender. So basically, that's just saying if I don't like someone, then I prejudge them based on the way they look or their race, it's just a prejudgment that's not based on facts. Now, sometimes those prejudgments or prejudice can be based on facts. They can be based on past experiences. But if I prejudge a person even based on my own past experiences, and I prejudge a person not knowing who they are, then that is a protective mechanism that is foundational in all people. And I think that needs to be said. So if you've experienced violence or anything negative from a group of people, or your experiences are personal or even preconceived, maybe other elders or your parents have told you about things that may happen to you if you were to come in contact with these people. In those examples, I think to prejudge people is healthy. When it comes to your own self-preservation, once you find out the actual facts about a person and then you judge that person and he's not the way you expect based on your experiences, at that point you reevaluate how you feel about that person, and then it becomes a personal relationship that you have with that person that doesn't have anything to do with your experiences. I think that is very, very normal. Now, when you say racism, we're talking about something else. So let's pull that definition. So, racism is a belief that certain races are better than others. It also means treating people poorly with hate or unfairness just because of their skin color, race, or ethnic background. So what's the difference between the two? Racism is a mind state or a mental construct. That belief system says that I'm better than these people just because I'm who I am and they are who they are. Or even the belief system that says these people are better than me because they are who they are and I am who I am. A prejudice is a prejudgment. So we'll say a prejudgment is if every time I walk by the second floor at this building, someone throws a big bottle of urine outside the window. I get drenched in urine on my way to work. You can imagine what kind of problems that will cause. So the next time I walk by that window, or every other time I walk by that window after that, I'm going to prejudge that it may happen to me again. I'm trying to protect myself from a certain level of danger, which is healthy. Racism, on the other hand, is a mind state that's based in insecurity. I need to be better than these people in order for me to justify who I am or what I believe about myself. Or because that racism has been enforced upon me, it causes me to change my mindset in believing that those people are better than me because there's nothing I can do about what they're doing to me. This is what is known as interpersonal racism. It is hurtful words, name calling, or mean actions by one against another based on the race. Other examples of interpersonal racism are isolation, exclusion, and characterization based on race. This is done in neighborhoods and other social settings. It's simply the action that expresses your personal prejudice. Black people can be racist in this way. The only difference is we will be corrected or punished in most cases if the people or persons that we are committing the racism against notify the proper authorities. On the other hand, when we as Black Americans experience racism in any way, it's expected, supported, or just simply ignored. In most cases, Black people don't even go to the police for protection. It's only been in recent times that we had hate crimes on Asians and anti-Semitism, for example. This is where we get into racism that Black people can absolutely not do. Institutional racism is unfair rules or practices inside specific places like schools, jobs, and banks that put certain racial groups at a disadvantage. This is one thing we can't do because we don't control the schools, the banks, or the jobs. And anytime we do have our own schools, banks, or jobs, they're usually destroyed by structural racism, which are large systems across society like housing or justice systems that create lasting unfair gaps between different racial groups. Now, I'm not a psychologist or a psychotherapist or anything like that. I have no licenses nor degrees or anything. It's just that I enjoy studying these things. It kind of relaxes me. So that being said, in my opinion, I believe that racism is a form of narcissism. And like narcissism, it's a personality trait, not a mental disorder, even though I kind of believe that it can be a mental disorder. Again, I'm not a psychologist. This is just my personal opinion. Narcissism is based on a scale, almost like autism. And I believe the same thing goes for racism. Narcissism goes from normal narcissism, which is being high-strung or conceited. We FBAs call it sedity. Then it goes to sociopathy, and then finally psychopathy. Racism goes from being prejudiced to being a bigot or a regular racist to white supremacy. Now, this is going to sound kind of strange to you, but I don't believe that so-called white people practice white supremacy. I believe that Black people practice white supremacy. In my opinion, white supremacy is a form of Stockholm Syndrome. Unfortunately, for hundreds and hundreds of years, we were treated less than cattle. There was absolutely nothing we could do about it. So rather than just give up and cave in, we embraced our situation. We accepted the mindset that these people were totally superior to us. Their superiority was reinforced in our minds for hundreds of years through trauma. Our white supremacy looks like gang violence. It looks like black on black crime. It also looks like family dysfunction, our recent gender wars, drug abuse, selling drugs in our own communities, and other degenerate behaviors. This is what is known as internalized racism. We began to believe these negative stereotypes and ideas about our own race. You would think that this racism that was placed on us by these so-called white people for hundreds and hundreds of years will cause their minds to believe that they were superior, but it did the opposite. It caused fear and insecurity. These fears and insecurities must be reinforced with an ideal of racism. This causes cognitive dissonance. This dysfunctional relationship that we have with those people that enslaved us has become the base of what is known as American culture and is adopted by all immigrants that come into this country. When I say all immigrants, I mean all immigrants. All people from everywhere all over the world, whether it's European or Asian. These people experience white supremacy as light supremacy, meaning the lighter they are in their country, wherever it is in the world, the less discrimination they experience, such as dark-complected people from Saudi Arabia and India, the ones that are the darkest complected skin experience discrimination. The same thing as, like I said, the people of India. There are very, very dark-skinned Indian people. When I say Indian, I mean India. There are very dark-skinned people from India. These people are called the untouchables. Then they have lighter-skinned Indians. These people will not even touch the darker-skinned Indians because they discriminate based on colorism. Same people, darker color, discrimination. We use the same colorism discrimination on ourselves in the Jim Crow era. The Jim Crow era was a brutal time for us where they actually had laws in place that took away our rights from being actual humans. Civil liberties were an afterthought. People all over the world immigrate to this country to escape their levels of racism and impoverished conditions and search for a better life. The last thing they want to do is be looped in with us and our racist and financial condition, so they assimilate with white supremacy. Whether you're an immigrant from Sicily or from Nigeria, it's all the same. With the greatest weapon of mass destruction we call television and movies, we all begin to believe all of these nonsensical, predeceived, negative prejudice images that's been placed on foundational Black Americans. We become the benchmark. You feel as though you should be able to at least do better than us, not knowing how deep our roots of trauma, justice, and equality actually go. The blood of our ancestors run into the soil of this nation. They don't understand what caused our condition. They also don't understand all the things we've contributed to this nation. The ideas, inventions, and innovations that have been stolen from us are innumerable. There's a unique and specific type of racism that we've experienced in this country. And then we have the invention of the greatest weapon of mass destruction ever created, the movie theater, television, computer monitor, and cell phone. People in this country and all over the world see these images of slavery and of us being totally subservient and idiotic. I mean, just look at the movie Boys in the Hood. It looked like we were just sitting on the porch all day drinking 40 ounces and gangbanging all day. Not knowing that they're sitting on the porch because their families have been disenfranchised to having their own businesses. They can't get any jobs because of that same discrimination, and they're totally hopeless and helpless. That's the right reason why they're drinking the 40s in the first place. The gangbanging and violence happens because we're all thrust into this depressive situation. On top of that, we're all totally broke, so we have to resort to getting money in the street. Then ask yourself, if we're so broke, how do we get the drugs and the guns in the community? Please don't get it twisted. Don't think I'm having some type of pity party for us out here. From slavery to Jim Crow to the 1980s drug epidemic, crack epidemic, we, the foundations of Black America, wear all this trauma and death upon our sleeve like a badge of honor. Racism of all kinds is always directed at the men. We, as the Black men of America, have seen one of the worst genocides that we've ever seen since slavery in the 1980s until now. Not only have millions of Black men been incarcerated in state and federal prisons and been held on probation and parole, but all of the millions of men that have been murdered at the hands of gun violence. They actually thought about putting us on the endangered species list. Unfortunately, because of that, Department of Children and Family and welfare laws in general, coupled with these same stereotypical racist images that have been plastered into our brain, we've lost our women. Our precious Black women have been forced into positions of the masculine gender and raised families financially on their own. They've managed successfully, I might add, to raise these families and get their college educations. These long periods of being locked in prison, being in gangs with all men, atrazine, estrogen, and other female hormones in the food and water, along with crushed financial careers due to long prison time and criminal records, most men have become effeminate to women. Their internalized racism, white supremacy, is pivoted outwards towards their man. The time of all of that is coming to a close. Crime is down in the Black communities, although the population of increased prisoners has increased to 2 million. We've had some very successful boycotts, and this FBA delineation is killing them. This is not just about reparations. I don't really believe that we're ready for reparations, but if that's the case, then we'll never be ready until we actually get it. Most of all, we need to get back to our spiritual roots. And that's the reason why I started doing these videos in the first place. Not for views or popularity. I just wanted to galvanize people in a spiritual way. Just look around you. Everything that's going on in the world right now is a spiritual movement. Ezekiel 37, 1 through 14. God shows the prophet Ezekiel the valley full of dry bones and asked him, could they live? I believe that is us at this point. I believe that we are the valley of dry bones that will come back. We will come back as the new Israel. We are the Yahudim. With all that being said, can black people be racist? Absolutely not. I do not believe we can be racist. I do believe we can be prejudiced. I believe that racism is a spiritual demonic system that's been ordained by God. I believe that it was meant to create us as a people as we are at this moment. With that, I'm going to land the plane. Please don't forget to subscribe, maybe hype this video if you're on YouTube, or be my friend on TikTok or Facebook. Make sure you comment. Talk to me. I'll listen. With that, I'm going to land this plane. Don't forget about Plane Planet. The inspiration behind Plane Planet is not just some flat earth conspiracy theory. It's the idea that your vision in life belongs to you. You don't have to believe something that you've learned in school. You don't have to believe something that science tells you is true. You can believe what you want to believe. You could be who you want to be. This is the essence of Plane Planet. Plane Planet is a clothing line. It's a Christian clothing line on top of it that you can actually wear and be proud of. This ain't churchy or Bible thumping. This is a quality streetwear brand. This is Plane Planet. Clothing you can believe in.
Dreams come true, and I wonder if you know